Hello and welcome to YNWA Transfer News, your ultimate source for all Liverpool FC transfer news. Our first news is this. Alexander Isak Liverpool starting verdict reached after Star declared not ready. Alexander Isak is back in the Sweden squad, but he won't be taking a full part in both of his country's games over the international break. New Sweden boss Graham Potter has acknowledged that Isak is still nursing the injury which has kept him out of Liverpool's last 4 matches, but he is hopeful of seeing him in the squad for Sunday's trip to Manchester City. Alex is not ready to play 90 minutes in 2 games in 4 days, said Potter ahead of games against Switzerland and Slovenia. But he is available and I look forward to meeting him. We'll see this weekend. Hopefully he can play against Manchester City on Sunday and be with us in Malaga at a training camp. Arne Slot will provide the latest on Isak's fitness at Friday morning's press conference. And while a start against City would be considered unlikely, the former Newcastle forward will face a battle to establish himself in the Reds team after the international break. Is that a battle he can win? We asked our writers what they think. Ian Doyle. Not many would have thought a week into November there would be debate over whether Alexander Isak should be starting for Liverpool. But then much of the summer spending spree hasn't gone exactly to plan for Arne Slot, for a variety of reasons. In the case of Isak, it is twofold: the fitness of the Sweden international, and the form of fellow new signing Hugo Ekitike. Isak's lack of pre-season continues to hamper him, and while he is now up to speed in terms of general overall fitness, a recent groin issue has underlined he isn't there with either sharpness or durability. Of course, for 125 million Liverpool haven't bought Isak for a few months but instead many years. They won't be overly perturbed by the lack of impact just yet. And while it may be that Sunday's Premier League trip to Manchester City comes too soon for a return, Isak will, touch wood, be fit and fighting after the forthcoming final international break of the year. That, though, should not be sufficient for him to walk back into the team. Ekitike, after a good start to the season, had hit a slight rut in terms of domestic performances, but did better in the second half against Aston Villa and was much more like it in the win over Real Madrid. So he remains the man in possession. Isak will get his chances given the hectic schedule that resumes, and it's now up to him to take them. Mark Jones, have you looked at Liverpool's fixture list after the international break? If you haven't, I can strongly recommend it. Games aren't won on paper famously, but the assignments do look to be a fair bit kinder. For the Reds in the weeks that follow Sunday's trip to Manchester, City right up to the visit to Arsenal. In early January, that should allow Arne Slot to rotate a little more freely with a little less pressure. And that could be when we see Alexander Isak really come to the fore. We got a glimpse of it in the Champions League win away at Frankfurt. But of course you'd put Mo Salah back into that starting X's, with Florian Wirtz also in line for a few more starts, against opposition who are likely to try and station men behind the ball. If you're then picking 2 from the 3 midfielders we've just seen against Aston Villa and Real Madrid, something you should be able to do against plenty of lesser opposition, then that leaves 2 attacking positions to be fought over between Isak, Hugo Ekitike, and Cody Gakpo. The players won't want to think of it like that, of course, but all 3 should get more than enough time on the pitch in that scenario, with Slot recently discussing how both Isak and Ekitike will have to be managed in a season in which the club they are playing for will have more matches than either player has experienced before. All of them will get their chances, Isak included, and getting all of his attacking options fit and in form will be the main aim for Slot in the weeks and months to come. Real Madrid move. Confirmed star is joining Liverpool. Real Madrid now believe a star player is going to join Liverpool. Over the course of the last few years, the Spanish Giants have been a thorn in the Reds' side. From multiple defeats in Champions League finals to stealing away some of the club's prime targets, such as Jude Bellingham, Aurelien Tchouameni, and Dean Huijsen, but obviously the biggest blow of the lot was taking Trent Alexander-Arnold away from Anfield and luring him to the Spanish capital. It's a move that not only made Alexander-Arnold a villain in Liverpool supporters' eyes and tainted his legacy at the club, but also put Real Madrid as by far the club's biggest rival on the European stage. Now with the club lurking to poach Ibrahima Konate away from Liverpool as well, the stakes are even higher. If they get Konate on a free, Real Madrid are going to turn into the club's #1 enemy. Liverpool simply cannot afford to let it happen. Fortunately, though, there is one move they are going to win and beat Real Madrid too. Real Madrid's policy of signing the best free agents in Europe has seen them turn their attention on center-backs. Konate is one player they want upon the expiry of his current deal at the end of the season. The other option they have also considered is Marc Guehi, but this is a move they have very quickly decided to give up. According to the Daily Mail, Real Madrid have turned their attention away from Guehi. The report claims sources in Madrid believe that Guehi is going to be joining Liverpool. He was so close to signing for the Reds at the end of the summer window. Crystal Palace pulled the plug on the deal in the final few minutes of the market being shut. Since then, there have been various speculations that Guehi may end up signing for someone else. But Madrid's decision to not even entertain a move pretty much confirms that this is not the case. At this stage, it looks very likely that Guehi is going to be on his way to Anfield. Whether that is in the January or the summer window of next year remains to be seen. Even though Liverpool lacks center-back depth, it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense for them to try and sign a defender for a transfer fee in January, when they can wait a few months and bring him to the club on a free. As for the signing of Guehi, it's a great move. He's homegrown, and he's very comfortable on the ball. His ability to bring the ball out from the back and his reading of the game is going to make him a huge asset. Signing one of the best defenders in the league on a free transfer is also a great power move. The kind of power move Real Madrid would be proud of. Liverpool face, Konate contract, crossroads, amid Madrid interest. Liverpool find themselves in a familiar position, managing uncertainty around the future of a key figure, while supporters look anxiously toward the summer. Contract tension has become a recurring feature at Anfield, particularly when elite players enter the final year of their deals. The situation surrounding Ibrahima Konate has now shaped into one of the defining stories of Liverpool's early summer narrative, with renewed focus on Real Madrid's interest and the internal attempts to secure his long-term commitment. Konate's contract picture. Liverpool have already endured the sting of losing Trent Alexander-Arnold to Real Madrid last year, and whispers around Konate have grown louder in recent weeks. When a player runs down their contract, the likelihood of a departure on a free transfer increases dramatically. Negotiations concerning Konate have been ongoing, although progress is proving elusive. The fear for supporters is that the club may be preparing to see another cornerstone of the squad move on without compensation. Yet history offers encouragement. Liverpool's hierarchy showed resilience when Mohamed Salah and Virgil van Dijk reached similar late-stage standoffs. Both were eventually convinced to extend their futures. That precedent matters, particularly as Arne Slot continues to build on the strong foundations created in his title-winning first season. Van Dijk's contract insight and Madrid narrative. Insight into previous negotiations has also re-emerged thanks to Fabrizio Romano, who addressed recent claims originating in Spain about Van Dijk. In his latest video, he said, "There are some stories in Spain about Virgil van Dijk, who wanted to go to Real Madrid on a free transfer last summer. I'm aware that Virgil van Dijk really wanted to stay at Liverpool. He really wanted to be a crucial part of the Liverpool project. Sometimes the stories can be told in different ways. In Spain and in England, it's normal. But it's also normal sometimes for agents, when you have a client, a world-class player like Virgil van Dijk, to reach out to clubs and understand situations. It's part of their job. But the desire of the player has always been to stay at Liverpool and to continue at the club. That must be clear." Spanish reports from José Félix Diaz linking Van Dijk with a move to Madrid were therefore greatly exaggerated. The Dutch captain himself said it was always Liverpool, a sentiment that ultimately proved accurate. The contrast between the external noise and the player's actual preference provides valuable framing as supporters try to interpret the current conversation around Konate. Konate's situation and competing narratives. Konate's circumstances are different yet comparable. Real Madrid are known admirers, and Romano confirmed this in the same update, saying, Ibrahima Konate remains a player on the list of Real Madrid, so if Konate leaves on a free in the summer, then Real Madrid will be very attentive. For sure, he is one of the players they are monitoring. On the other side, Liverpool are still talking with his agents. So Liverpool at this stage have the opportunity still to talk to the player, but Konate has the opportunity to decide whether he wants to stay at Liverpool or try a new chapter. There is a lot of interest in Konate, not just Real Madrid, so for sure there would be a big opportunity. But this depends on the player. French sources have suggested that Liverpool are actively engaged in contract dialogue and nothing definitive has emerged from the player himself. Much of the speculation is therefore based on secondary reporting rather than impartial confirmation. This is where lessons from the Van Dijk episode resonate. Not every rumor carries weight. Not every claim reflects the player's intention. Outlook for Liverpool and Konate. All possibilities remain open, and it is premature to conclude that Konate is set on departing. His importance to Liverpool's long-term structure under Slot is clear. His athleticism, tactical awareness, and partnership potential make him central to the club's defensive future. Whether he sees that future in red is a question only he can answer in the coming months. For now, context matters. Each report deserves examination, and supporters would be wise to treat the rumors with caution. Until the club or Konate speaks definitively, the story remains fluid. Liverpool news. 100-meter. Price tag slapped on transfer target as Star says, absolutely not. Liverpool are putting their poor run of form behind them as they secured 3 points against both Aston Villa and Real Madrid this week. The Reds made it 2 wins from 2 in the Premier League and Champions League with Mohamed Salah, Ryan Gravenberch, and Alexis Mac Allister all on the score sheet. A hugely important game against Manchester City at the Etihad Stadium is on the horizon for Arne Slot's side, but the Dutchman has been quick to praise his team for getting back on track. Speaking post-match, Slot said, "Impressive, because we played against an incredible side, a team that is in an unbelievable run of form, only lost once, won all the other games. If you then can win against them, but also with the performance we had, that's very positive. But apart from everything we can say, we beat them because of a set piece. It's nicer to talk about this if you win, because if you lose, people come up with that. I try to find excuses. But a positive set-piece balance is the minimum you need to get a result 9 out of 10 times, and that's what we had today. Here, YNWA Football has all the latest news from Anfield, including a potential transfer deal-breaker and 1 star cementing his place in the Liverpool side. 100-meter price tag slapped on transfer target, with a whopping $446 million spent in the summer. Liverpool are still on the lookout for more stars to add to their lineup. Aston Villa's Morgan Rogers is one that has been on the Reds' radar for some time, with interest in the England international reported as the Villans struggled to meet PSR requirements. However, Rogers has stayed put in Birmingham for the time being and is of interest to a number of other clubs including Arsenal and PSG. Now, a report from YNWA claims that Villa are planning to add another year to the 23-year-old's contract in the near future, as well as a release clause that will total 100 million. Rogers is currently tied to Villa until 2030 following a renewal less than a year ago, but this new extension will likely put off a number of clubs who may be vying for his signature. The England international has impressed at Villa Park since joining in 2024, scoring 18 goals and assisting 19 times in 84 appearances. For the club, Slot may still be keen in adding more attacking power to his squad and hefty price tags. Haven't been a deterrent to the big spenders at Anfield in recent times. Warnock's unsung hero? Absolutely not. Ex-Liverpool defender Stephen Warnock has sung the praises of Dominik Szoboszlai, claiming the midfielder has blocked Florian Wirtz from taking his place in the side, highlighting the Hungarian's performance against Real Madrid on BBC Radio 5 Live's Football Daily podcast. The 43-year-old said, Arne Slot has been trying to get some continuity in his back four and midfield. They were trying to get back to what they were doing best last season, and they did that against Real Madrid. It's a huge step forward, and now it's about drip-feeding their newer players in, but first, they will have to come to terms with how Liverpool play and why Liverpool were successful last season. Alexis Mac Allister and Ryan Gravenberch weren't great at the start of this season, but they have been really impressive in the past 2 games. They have to continue that form now. It's imperative you have those two on the pitch, but when you add in Dominik Szoboszlai, wow! The energy he has, the recovery challenges he makes, and the way he gets to the edge of the penalty area is so impressive. Warnock went on to claim Szoboszlai has indirectly kicked Wirtz out of the conversation in Slot's midfield. He added, "There was talk about Florian Wirtz taking his place, but he has said, absolutely not, you're not having my place." Thank you for watching. Like and comment, subscribe.